Hey, what's going on, people? It's SGZ here from the SpartanGameZone, and in this video I'll be talking about what guns I think will get nerfed come the balance patch and Guardian Takedown update. Set to arrive, well, I don't know, it was supposed to arrive last week but has been delayed to shine light on more important matters, and so we'll just have to wait a little bit longer. It's an important update, I'd say the most important update for Borderlands 3 so far, and along with it will come phase 1 of their Mayhem 2.0 fine tuning, where they'll be adjusting the performance of over and underperforming gear to provide players with more guns to use and ways to play the game, among other things. So I thought in this video, since I have been asked a few times, I'll explain which guns I think are overperforming and we'll see a nerf come balance time. But just because these guns might get nerfed doesn't mean they'll be bad if they do. It just means more weapons will be about as good, which is for the betterment of the game. If this video helped you in any way, I'd appreciate you helping me in a small way by dropping a like, and let's dive into it. So right now in Borderlands 3 there are about 6 guns that are overperforming, and they're all new guns at that, considering that these 6 guns make easy work of Mayhem 10 right now, and the balance patch will lower the health, shield and armor stats of enemies at Mayhem levels 7 and above. There's no doubt that these guns will get toned down. If they weren't, that would only amplify the problem. When we take a look at sniper rifles, there's one key weapon that gets praised well above all the rest, and that's the Sandhawk. Rivaled in damage only by the unseen threat, the Sandhawk performs well above any other sniper rifle in all other stats. It has the highest magazine size and fires the fastest out of all of them. You can also get it in fully automatic, and for all intent and purposes, it's an SMG but much more powerful. When compared with the Krakatoa, a former king of sniper rifles itself, it just doesn't hold up here against Graveward, and that's with a 300% face slam one. The Sandhawk simply outclasses it, and I know I'm crit swapping here, but that's a feature the Sandhawk gives you, and I'd expect it to get nerfed when phase 1 arrives. Looking at launches now, and there's one that has been all the rage since Mayhem 2.0, and that's the Yellowcake. I mean, you can't go ahead and do this to bosses on Mayhem 10 and expect it not to get nerfed, and the Yellowcake I'm using in these clips isn't close to the best one. However, I'm a bit torn with this one, as the Yellowcake is a limited time weapon and will be nerfed in its own way once the level cap increases. I want it to still be viable come that level cap increase, but it's hard to say how big its nerf will be. I also feel like launches are supposed to be annihilation stations, and that's what the Yellowcake is, but the Yellowcake is probably too much of that. Bringing it back to balance, if the Yellowcake is the only thing everyone is using for bossing and mobbing and nothing can compete with it, then it should be reduced in some way. The Backburner is another new launcher that's extremely good, although bugged right now. Overall for launchers, I think Gearbox have to look at where they sit alongside the other guns, and if the Iron Cannon is anything to go on, these new ones will likely get nerfed too. We also got a couple of new assault rifles with the Mayhem 2.0 update, and I expect both of them to be nerfed as well. The OPQ system doesn't have OP in its name for nothing. It's a deadly weapon that outclasses all assault rifles before it. Fully automatic, hard hitting, the occasional shock rounds and a drone gun to boot. The OPQ system sits atop the assault rifle pedestal, knocking the previous best off by a long way. Like the Yellowcake though, it is limited time, and for me, I don't want to see it nerfed. I feel a level cap increase is coming with DLC 3, and that'll be enough for it in my eyes. They may still tone it down, but it would be good to see it on top, even after they do. The Monarch is another of the new assault rifles that will most likely get nerfed. I mean, it is the Shredderfire and Dictator combined into one gun, and there really isn't much competition with it outside of the OPQ system. It just blitzes through enemies, and for raw power, it trumps them all. When compared to the Clairvoyance, it's a lot better. The Soul Render, again, way better. Those were formerly at the very top of the assault rifle class, but now the OPQ system and the Monarch are looking down and can't even see them. When looking at shotguns, there is one here that is like another one that's previously been in the game, but it's a lot better, and that gun is the Reflux. The Reflux is pretty much the Brainstormer but deals only corrosive damage instead of only shock damage. Safe to say though that it's a lot better. It deals close to double the damage and performs pretty much the same task. It's great while mobbing, and I just can't see this gun not being nerfed. It'll be interesting to see how this gun stacks up with the Brainstormer if it does get nerfed, but I think it has to be, otherwise there's really no point in using the Brainstormer and a lot of other shotguns that are currently available. The last gun that I'm pretty sure will get nerfed is the calcine. It's yet another of the new weapons, this time belonging to the submachine gun class. A peak calcine does some serious damage on Mayhem 10, an adapting calcine dealing close to double the damage of a normal one with a 390 anointment will obliterate any mob, and a general calcine like the one you see here will still do that, but to less effect. It deals its damage in two phases, one when the projectiles land and a few seconds later when they explode. This effect means you're able to take full damage of the 300% damage boost while enemies are above 90% health anointment, and you can crit swap with it too. No other SMG in the game lets you do that close to how the calcine can, and because of that I'd expect it to get nerfed. However, the peak calcine that I mentioned earlier is extremely hard to get, so I don't feel its nerf is needed as much as some of the other guns here, but I feel Gearbox will still have plans for it when Phase 1 arrives. So that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and learned of the weapons that will likely get nerfed come balance time, but again that doesn't mean they'll be unusable. If anything, they'll go from god tier to good tier, and that's okay as long as good tier is the best tier. And I'll catch you in the next one.